Alright, children, I'm going to read you a story the school sent me to read you. It's from Current Health 2, the Human Sexuality Newsletter. The title is, All You Need Is Love. When deciding about sex, listen to your heart and your head. By Melissa Daly. It's okay if you're in love. That's what some teens say about having sex. On the other hand, some teens don't feel the need to love or even be in a relationship with their partners to get physical. There's no one common belief among teens today about any aspect of sex and love, remarks Benedict W., 17, a member of the Washington, D.C. Teen Advisory Group at a national campaign to prevent teen unplanned pregnancy. Although love is often seen as complicated, she adds, such as when one partner feels it and the other partner doesn't. Perhaps you should be in love before you have sex with someone, but love alone isn't enough of a reason, says Karen Rain, a sex educator in Austin, Texas. Are you in love or not is something important to ponder, but should you have sex or not is a very different kind of question. So how do you figure out whether you are really in love, and what does that mean about your readiness for sex? Crazy in love. Love means different things to different people. To some, it's that butterflies in the stomach feeling at the beginning of a new romance. For others, it's the long-term attachment that comes way after the butterflies in a committed relationship. For many research scientists studying love, it's both. Almost everyone, however, can agree that lust is another animal. The hormone called testosterone, which everyone has, kicks into gear during adolescence, making it possible to desire a physical connection without any interest in an emotional one. That desire is lust, or physical attraction, a result of the natural human sex drive. It might come off as feeling of love at first sight, or even a sexual arousal reflex such as an erection or vaginal lubrication. If you list the things you like about a potential partner, and they're all physical attributes such as great hair or a nice body, lust is most likely what you're feeling. The fluttery flush feeling you get around a crush may be similar to the excitement of a new love. But if you don't actually know much about each other's personalities, it's probably still lust for the moment. Of course, lust can grow into love, but it doesn't always. When one partner is in love and the other only in lust, having sex can make a subsequent rejection more painful. Of course, even being mutually in love is no magic charm against heartbreak. However, the longer you spend together and the better you get to know each other, the more solid your bond may become. I call it dating through the seasons, says Nancy Brown, an adolescent relationship and sexuality expert and education project manager at Palo Alto Medical Foundation in California. Most of us can be on our best behavior for a while, but we start letting down our guard by around 3 to 4 months. After that point, you'll see more sides of your partner, such as how she or he handles bad days or conflicts, rather than just the perfect image that person displays at first. Going through those times together could bring you closer, or make you realize that you and the other person might not be the best match after all. One more way to evaluate the depth of your relationship is to ask your best friend what he or she thinks about the object of your affection. Often, when you're in love, you don't just have a good sense of the person, you have a warm, fuzzy feeling. But that's not the same as a cold, hard look at him or her. It's not supposed to be, says Rain. Your friends are much more able to be objective and say whether they're feeling that same warmth about him or her. If they aren't, you don't have to break up. Just put the brakes on sex for 6 months. Let everyone get to know one another more, and see how things look later. Chapter 3. Love is blind. In the midst of a new romance, you're really not thinking straight. And it's where the intertwining of lust and love can be a problem. When you're in love, your significant other can do no wrong in your eyes. Your feelings for him or her are so overpowering that you can't imagine she or he would hurt you, even unintentionally. That sense of trust, and also concern over what your partner will think of you, may be why teens are less likely to use condoms when hooking up with a serious relationship partner than with a casual partner, according to a recent study in the Journal of Adolescent Health. No matter how deeply in love you are, it's not protecting your cervix or your penis from bacteria and viruses, said Brown. Love is no guarantee against pregnancy, disease, or even sometimes a partner's infidelity. Sexual activity with anyone carries serious risks, including unplanned pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections. Love and sex need to stay separate in your mind at least long enough to arrange for and use protection, says Brown. That means condoms to reduce the transmission of STIs, plus, for vaginal intercourse, a backup contraceptive method such as the birth control pill, patch, or ring. While love itself doesn't make sex safer, it can create a more favorable environment for healthy sexuality. If your partner really loves you, he or she will go with you to the clinic a month beforehand to get protection, use it, and be committed to making sure you have a good experience, says Brown. If not, his or her motives may not be the same as yours. Well, here's a little fun article. The Science of Being Smitten. Have you ever felt real heartache? Asked Lucy Brown, the neurology professor at Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York, began a recent lecture to the science writers in New York with that question, and nearly everyone in the room nodded. Brown and her research partner, Helen Fisher, an anthropologist at Rutgers University in New Jersey, described what happens in our brains when we fall in love and why. The intoxicating rush of romantic love during the first year or so of a relationship is what they explore. In one study, Fisher determined new love's most common system. Special meaning. Everything about the person seems different, unique, and special. Heightened energy. You're bouncing off the walls. Mood swings. Euphoria when he or she calls. Despair when he or she doesn't. Bodily reactions. Think stammering, sweating, or shaking. Craving for emotional union. You're dying to hear, "I love you," more than you're dying to have sex. Obsessive thinking. Your mind is on the other person 24/7. Compulsive following. You keep looking at his or her Facebook page or texting to catch in. Feelings are hard to control. Previous research, some by Fisher, has provided those experiences has proved those experiences are universal. To find out what causes them, the researchers recruited volunteers in various stages of love and studied scans of their brain's activity. Turns out, the part that fires when you think of your beloved is nestled deep in the brain region that controls our most basic behaviors. Romantic love is part of a survival system our brains evolved, explained Brown. That system has 3 parts which combine to help humans reproduce. The first part is lust, aka the sex drive. fueled in both by men and women by the hormone testosterone. That gets you out the door and looking for potential partners, said Brown. The next part is romantic love, which narrows our focus to one special person. The third piece is attachment, to help you tolerate that person at least long enough to raise a child together, quipped Brown. All three drives interact. When you fall madly in love, there's an increase in testosterone, and everything about that person becomes sexually attractive, says Fisher. And after orgasm, there's a flood of oxytocin and vasopressin. Those are brain chemicals associated with feelings of attachment, she adds, which is even why casual sex is almost never actually casual. Things don't always work perfectly. It's possible to feel lust without love, attachment without lust, or even attachment to one person and love for another. Now that, kid, is called cheating. You don't do that. That brings back the question about heartache. The brain scan of a person recently rejected by someone they love looks very similar to the brain scan of a cocaine addict during a craving, says Brown. It's no wonder then why a breakup can leave you unable to eat, sleep, or think straight, kind of like love itself. Alright, that was a fun little article. Now let's get back to the story. Having multiple sexual partners, either sleeping with several different people or having a series of exclusive relationships, increases the risk of STIs. Any sort of limiting criteria, such as having sex. Sorry everyone, Grandpa came into the room and I had to pause. Any sort of limiting criteria, such as having sex only with someone a person loves, or is in a long-term committed relationship with, or is married to, helps reduce the chances of contracting an infection. Chapter 4. Do you like me? Check yes or no. Just as love doesn't make you immune from infections, neither does it ensure you're in a healthy relationship. That can make a big difference in whether sex is a positive or a negative experience. People often say that communication is the key to a good relationship. But what does that really mean? I gave teens a list of 10 things to do before they have sex, many of which require a conversation with their partner, says Rain. If they can manage to go through each item on their own, then talk about each one together, that indicates they have good communication. Cruising through them in solo isn't enough, she adds. A big part of being in a healthy sexual relationship is I'm having trouble reading that. Reciprocity. Oh dear. Oh, I'm giving out here. Is reciprocity. That is, making sure each partner is giving and taking in approximately equal amounts. Here is that list of 10 things to do. Know each other's sexual history. This is about more than just determining your partner's disease risk. It's about getting to know where your partner is coming from, how well they know themselves, and how responsible they've been, which can tell you a lot from a person, says Rain. Know your partner's STI status and your own. Get tested before you have sex. Even if neither partner has had sex before, call it a trial run. Discuss exactly what birth control and STI protection you'll use. Both partners should be involved in the discussion. For heterosexual couples, discuss what you'll do if you get the woman pregnant. Agree on a hypothetical plan, acknowledging that your feelings could change if it actually happened. Get your friend's blessing. Having a second opinion helps. Meet your partner's parents. It'll help you know him or her more deeply, even if he or she is nothing like the family. Learn what turns you on. Know what does and doesn't feel good so you are able to show your partner. Be comfortable naked in front of each other. If that sounds crazy, it's totally understandable. but it may mean you're not ready for sex yet. Have protection ready. Even if you're both certified injection-free and monogamous, using it is just a good habit to start and maintain. Make sure your partner does each of these things. Take care of yourself and each other. Remember, checking off each item on the list doesn't automatically mean it's the right time for you to have sex. The same goes for being in love. Putting both your head and your heart into every new sexual decision is the surest way to wind up happy with the choices you made. Oh, there's a little article after this one. It says, lust plus like minus love. What do you get when you combine hooking up and friendship but leave out the romance? Sorry kids, I had to take my pills. Alright, let me see. Let me see. Let's just start over. What do you get when you combine hooking up and friendship but leave out the romance? Friends with benefits. While not being love-struck may make it easier to think clearly about protection, this scenario comes with its own unique pros and cons. It might be the right arrangement for someone who wants to explore his or her sexuality in a respectful and open environment, but who isn't interested in being in a romantic relationship, sex educator Karen Rain. The downside is that there's a decent chance of one partner developing unrequited feelings for the other, ruining their friendship. Both people must be brutally honest, and all they want is a physical relationship, advises Rain. Final caveat, proceed with caution. Alright kids, I hope you liked your story. Now, I'm gonna go up to the middle school now and teach them something. Alright, bye Madison kids.